So some big news just came out by the UFC. Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic for the World Heavyweight Championship is being targeted in November on UFC 294, I believe. And finally, this matchup is being made. We've waited, I believe, months. After Jon Jones beat Ciryl Gane, we were waiting for this fight to be made almost immediately. In fact, we expected this matchup to be made for this Saturday. This fight was supposed to happen today at the time that this video will be coming out on Saturday. We should be seeing Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic and then Volkanovski versus Jair being the co-main event. That should be the whole game plan, but no, we had to wait months and months for this to happen. I don't know why Jon Jones couldn't get right back in there. I don't think it's on Jon Jones. I think it's more on Stipe. I think he was going through some injuries or whatever. We don't know. But overall, the fight is now being made. Finally, it's happening. MSG is going to be a banger card. Hopefully, and I mean hopefully, we can get Conor McGregor in next month's December pay-per-view, which would be a crazy end to the year. I would love that, and that'd be awesome. But overall, we have Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic finally happening. And to break down this fight, it is free legacy for Jon Jones. Let's not beat around the bush. Let's be totally honest here. This is a free win, a free matchup for Jon Jones. I made a video in the past basically talking about how Stipe Miocic is 41 years old, and by the time November hits, I think he'll be 42 maybe, or maybe he might be 40 and be 41 by the fight happens. I don't remember exactly, but he will be an old fucker by the time this fight happens. He will be an old ass man. He will be crippled bones. He'll be walking with a cane to the octagon to fight Jon Jones. He will not be prepared to fight the greatest of all time, the GOAT, the man that is Jon Jones. I'm sorry, that was kind of cringe, but he will not be ready for this fight. He is too old, too brittle, and he shouldn't be even getting a title shot in the first place. Stipe Miocic hasn't done anything to deserve it. His last fight was a KO loss to Ngannou. A dominant KO loss, and getting the GOAT in Jon Jones. This is purely a fight to satisfy the fans. This is a total fan service of a matchup. We're only watching this because it's two GOATs. Jon Jones, the GOAT of the sport, and Stipe Miocic, the GOAT of heavyweight. Go at it. The UFC can market this as GOAT on GOAT, and that is what brings the excitement. That is what brings the hype to this matchup. Not because it's a great fight and that we're looking forward to it, which in some cases, it kind of is a great fight, but it's more about the overall value of the fight, the stakes that are going to be put on the line. Jon Jones' GOAT status and Stipe's GOAT status will be both at risk in this matchup. Now, if Jon Jones does beat Stipe Miocic, I don't think that Miocic's heavyweight GOAT status will be revoked from him and to be replaced by Jon Jones. I think Jones needs maybe one or two more wins or defenses of his belt for him to be considered the heavyweight GOAT. But overall, I mean, it still is some sort of risk. There will be some argument at the end of this fight when Jon Jones crushes Stipe Miocic. I won't say that it's going to be the same thing as the Gane fight, the Jon Jones and Gane fight. I think that Jon Jones will have a more difficult time dealing with Stipe Miocic, but overall, I think that this is going to be a pretty self-explanatory win. I think Jon Jones is going to go in there and abuse and use like a good old Playboy doll. I can't say that on YouTube, bro. But Jon Jones is going to absolutely beat the absolute brakes off of Stipe Miocic. There is no doubt in my mind. I am 100% confident that Jon Jones will gain the victory over Stipe Miocic. And back to how I'm going to break this down. Heavyweights can't grapple, and I know Miocic has a good grappling history. He grappled down Ngannou, but Jon Jones is a whole different beast. He has way better grappling than almost everybody in the entirety of the heavyweight division. That might be disproven later, or might be argued later with Jailton Almeida coming up, and maybe a Tom Aspinall can contend for that as well. But right now, in terms of who is the best grappler right now in the heavyweight division, it is Jon Jones by far, by a huge margin. And I don't think Stipe Miocic will be able to contend with the grappling against Jon Jones. It will be a total wash, in my opinion, for Jon Jones. He will go in there and take down Miocic and do whatever the hell he wants to him. He's going to absolutely ground and pound his face in and make him retire. He's going to give him even more CTE than he already has. I can even see Jon Jones putting out Miocic on the feet. I think Jon Jones' striking is also superior to Stipe's. I think Stipe is an old man. He's washed. We saw against Ngannou that his chin isn't the best. I know it's Ngannou though, but I think even the shots that he was taking didn't seem like they were like KO shots. I know it's Ngannou and he has the most amount of power that we've ever seen ever in MMA history. But I think getting knocked down by a jab and then getting left hooked, which kind of was like somewhat on the lower part of the jaw, it shows me that Stipe's chin is not even really the best. I know it's crazy to say that because it is, again, Francis Ngannou, but I think even if you disagree with that point about me, you can't tell me that Stipe's chin is going to be the same after that. I know he's taken 2 years off, but to reiterate my last point, what I said earlier in the video, he's an old ass man. He's too old for this shit. He's done. He's washed. He needs to go back to being a fireman and putting out fires, not fighting the GOAT, the greatest of all time. It's pretty much an over, done deal wrap for him. I don't want to see this matchup. I like Stipe. I'll be honest with you. I like Stipe Miocic. I don't want to see him go in there and get mauled. I don't want to see his legacy get tarnished somewhat by a GOAT, Jon Jones. I know it's Jon Jones. He's the GOAT of the sport. You can't really knock him down too much for losing to the GOAT. But it's Stipe, man. He's a legend. He beat DC. He has really good GOAT status in the heavyweight division. And we're going to watch Jon Jones just take that all away from him. And I just don't want to see that, man. It really pains my heart. It hurts my soul. But maybe Stipe can have some success against Jon Jones. Maybe he can go in there and box with him a little bit, land some good body shots. But again, the range, the savviness, the awkwardness that Jon Jones is, even as a heavyweight, it's going to be too overwhelming for Stipe. It really worries me. I think, again, like in terms of grappling, this will be an easy takedown, probably a good double leg or single leg attempt from Jon Jones to get him down to the ground. I think he has all the tools to pretty much wipe away Stipe. If I'm being totally honest here, I would have rather had Sergey Pavlovich be the opponent for Jon Jones. Not because I think that Sergey Pavlovich will beat Jon Jones, but I think he poses a more dangerous threat than Stipe does. I mean, Pavlovich is on a massive, crazy first round KO streak. I think he has like five first round KOs in a row, which is absolutely insane. We watched him against Curtis Blades, absolutely just put it on him. And when you get hit by Pavlovich, it's just a different kind of feel from what I've seen. It's a different kind of power. And he's tricky too because his ape index is also the longest in the UFC. In terms of height to arm ratio, Pavlovich has the longest, even over Jon Jones, who's an ape himself. That sounded weird. I don't mean it that way. I'm half black, by the way, so don't take that too seriously. You know what I meant. That was totally unintentional. But Jon Jones has a long ape index, just like Sergey Pavlovich. And so him being on an equal footing reach-wise would make it way more interesting. Sergey has definitely proven himself to be one of the elite heavyweights. He's a ton of hype behind him because of his massive first round KO streak. And he's not an old man coming off a KO loss to Ngannou. So I think that would bring more hype. But overall, though, I think it is kind of better that we're watching this. We can kind of get Jon Jones and Stipe out of the way, and then Jon Jones will probably retire if he wins. I think either one of these guys are going to retire regardless if win or lose. I think if Jon Jones wins, he's retiring. I think if Stipe wins, he's retiring. And I think it would be overall better because if we did feed Pavlovich to Jon Jones and he lost, and then somewhere down the line Pavlovich ended up getting the belt back, it would kind of ruin the heavyweight division. We would have a champ that would be seen as, not the best in the world because he did lose to Jon Jones. Whereas if he doesn't fight Jones and then he wins the belt, Pavlovich, he will be seen. There will be at least an argument. There will be at least some sort of case where people can go back and forth between who would win. Now, who would win, Pavlovich or Jones? Whereas if they fought now and Jones won, there wouldn't be an argument at all, and we couldn't really move on from the heavyweight division. Maybe stuck on Jon Jones reigning over it. He'd always be a shadow over top of it if he happened to beat Pavlovich and he would become champ. So I think overall it is definitely better for the heavyweight division that Pavlovich has to wait for his shot. Hopefully, I think he will do this, but hopefully he does go in and be the backup opponent and go in, wait in. Heavyweight's easy. They really don't cut any weight. Pavlovich might cut some weight. I don't know. I think he's like 250, so he doesn't cut really any weight at all. Just go in there, show up, make weight, get your win bonus or get your show money, get you some easy bread, and then go in there and then fight maybe an Aspinall, or maybe fight a Cyril Gahn. I don't know, that would be a good matchup, but fight somebody and get that belt for yourself. Probably an Aspinall would be the best option for him for a title shot. I wouldn't mind that at all. But overall, Jon Jones will win. He will win by whatever he wants. But that's it. That's all I have for you guys today. I appreciate you guys watching this far into the video. It does mean a lot to me. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon as well. I would surely appreciate that. Again, I will not be streaming tomorrow the card 290. I'm sorry about that, or today technically. I won't be streaming today. I have a wedding to go to. As you see by my fresh cut, I do look very fancy today. I came back from rehearsal dinner, so I'm just that cute of a guy. But overall, I don't know why I said that, but just as a reminder, I won't be doing that. But next week I will be on, and then for the rest of the next 3 or 4 months that the UFC has a card on, I will be streaming it. So make sure you guys tune in for the later ones. But again, that's all I have for you guys. Jon Jones wins by whatever he wants. Great matchup though. I'm hyped for this fight. I will be watching it for sure. Peace.